Have you ever wondered, if life gave you a second chance, would you dare face the ones who once abandoned you? This is the story of Nina, a girl left behind in a kidnapping by the very woman she once believed was her mother, so that the woman could protect a child who wasn't even hers. She died. But fate wasn't done with her yet. When she opened her eyes, Nina realized she was back in the past, just before everything went wrong. This time she wouldn't bow, wouldn't kneel, and wouldn't stay silent. In a world where identity, wealth, and blood ties can be swapped like cards, can a child once discarded turn the tables and reclaim what was rightfully hers? This is The Unchosen, a tale of betrayal, rebirth, and justice, reclaimed by her own hands. Let's begin. Part 1. The Day I Came Back to Life. My mother was a lifelong mistress who always fancied herself noble. She refused to accept any financial support from the legal wife of Mr. Charles Hale, the man who abandoned both of us. And during the most desperate days in Whispering Pines apartment, she forced me to marry a man I didn't love. I had no choice but to call Wynn Global Tower and beg Mr. Charles for help. When my mother, Veronica Hale, found out, she exploded in fury. Her face twisted in rage as she screamed in my face, "You're a bastard! From the moment you were born, you were a mistake. You think you have the right to compete with their legitimate daughter?" And then, when Melanie, Charles's real daughter, and I were kidnapped together, she didn't hesitate to declare, "Let her die. Let her atone for the sin of her existence." Those were the last words I heard before falling into a coma. While I lay motionless in the ICU at Crescent Medical Center, it was Melanie who held Veronica's hand and cooed, "Mommy, now I can finally live in peace." I don't have to be scared someone will find out who I really am. That's when I realized I was the one who had been switched. Melanie was the illegitimate child, and I was the one who should have been loved. But I died, and they killed me in the cruelest way possible. Silence. Until one morning, I opened my eyes and found myself in our old apartment. I had come back to life, returned to the exact moment I was still hiding the phone call to Mr. Charles from my mother, returned to the fateful day when everything should have changed. Nina Valen, I took you away from Eastvale, away from the Hale family, just so you wouldn't disturb their peace. And you dared to call him for tuition money? Veronica screamed, her eyes blazed, her breath ragged, just like in my previous life. I looked at her, and a surge of joy bloomed inside me. I had truly returned. The chance I begged for had been given to me. In my past life, I swallowed my pride in silence, was forced to return the money, and heard her say, I didn't take anything from him back then because I had dignity. I believed her. And the price I paid was my life. This time I wouldn't let that happen again. I clenched my fists. But when she screamed again, "You're a bastard, you don't deserve to live like you have rights," I couldn't hold back anymore. I grabbed her wrist, dragged her to the living room window where sunlight struck her paling face, and said, "If being alive is a sin, then let's atone together, mother and daughter." Veronica panicked immediately. She backed away, shoved me hard onto the cold floor, and fled the apartment like she'd seen a ghost. I lay there, heart pounding in my chest, but I didn't cry. I reached for my cracked phone and dialed a number etched deep in my bones. When the line picked up, I whispered, voice trembling, "Mother." There was a pause. Then a gentle voice answered, "Nina? Did you dial the wrong number?" It was Margaret Wynn. The woman I had never called Mom, but should have. The one who raised Melanie for 18 years. The one poisoned, slowly and methodically, by Melanie and Veronica. The one who, until her last breath, still worried Melanie wouldn't be able to protect Wynn Global Tower. She had no idea that her beloved daughter and her husband's mistress had been planning her murder for a long time. I told her everything. Every word tore at my throat like broken glass, but I had to speak. Margaret didn't hesitate. That very day, she boarded her private jet to the island. As soon as she landed, she went straight to Crescent Medical Center and ordered a DNA test that very day. When she held the report in her trembling hands, she flipped to the last page. I thought she'd reject me, but she didn't. She stepped forward, wrapped her arms around me and whispered, tears choking her voice, "My daughter, it's my fault. I let you wander for 18 years. I held her tight, voice thick with emotion. Mother. Margaret looked at me, firm and resolute. From now on, whatever you've lacked, I'll get it back for you, every bit of it. That night, we slept together in a 5-star hotel room nearby. In the dark, I saw her smile for the first time, but then her phone rang. On the screen, "Sweetheart." She raised a finger to her lips, motioning for silence, then answered with a sweet, deceptively gentle voice. "I'm on a sudden business trip, sweetie. Sleep well. I'll call again tomorrow." Melanie purred. "Don't forget my present." Margaret smiled. "Don't worry. I've already prepared a gift you'll never forget." The next morning, we took the earliest flight back to the city. We arrived at the Hale Mansion by 10 a.m. I looked up at the grand estate perched on the mountaintop, built like a European castle, majestic, mysterious, regal. "Nina, this is your home, but in my past life I had never set foot inside, because in there was an impostor who had stolen everything that belonged to me, but it didn't matter. Today, I was back." The Bentley drove us through the security gates of Windcrest Estate. I had never walked past these gates as an heir. Today was the first time, and it wouldn't be the last. Melanie, holding a doll, came running out cheerfully. "Mom, who is she?" But when she saw me, she froze and cautiously asked, "Mrs.?" Hale turned, looking at me with eyes full of warmth and tenderness. She said, "This is the surprise I prepared for you. Haven't you always wanted a sibling? Well, now I've brought her home. Isn't that lovely?" I stepped forward from behind Mrs. Hale, shyly facing Melanie, and introduced myself. "Hello, Melanie. I'm your half-sister. My mother's name is Veronica Valen." At the mention of Veronica, Melanie's eyes flashed with horror. She immediately snapped. "Your mother is the homewrecker who ruined my parents' marriage. How could you be so noble as to bring a bastard into our home?" She thought she could cause a scene like before and get Mrs. Hale to side with her, to drive me away. But this time, Mrs. Hale didn't give in. She withdrew her smile and coldly reprimanded, "Melanie Hale, who taught you such arrogance? No manners at all. Anyone would think you were raised by some foul-mouthed street woman." That final sentence shut her up instantly. She knew her status as an illegitimate child, feared exposure, and had always tried to please Mrs. Hale, to be the perfect daughter in her eyes. What she feared most was hearing someone say, "You don't resemble your mother at all." But this time, the one who said it was Mrs. Hale herself. Some wounds don't show on skin, they live in memory. And some truths, no matter how long they're buried, will eventually come to light. Nina didn't come back to mourn her old fate. She came to rewrite her story with her own strength. But the truth always has two sides, and those once at the top will not let go so easily. The gift her mother brought home, who was it really for? And who was truly replaced? Thank you for spending your time with today's story. If you found yourself resonating with Nina or simply couldn't look away from the secrets inside the Wynn family, stay tuned for the next episode, because this is only the beginning.